I will never forget the night my sister's reflection stepped out of the mirror. I still see it in my dreams, her face smiling before she did, her body moving while she stayed frozen, and then that thing climbing out slowly, like a shadow peeling itself from glass. That was the night I knew something in our flat wasn't right, and I swear, if I had listened to the warning signs, none of this would have happened. We had just moved into a high-rise building 2 months earlier. It was in the heart of the city, a tall gray concrete tower where the walls wept when it rained and the lifts broke down almost every week. People called it Crewtown Towers, though most whispered another name, the Cursed Flats. My father didn't care about the rumors. Cheap rent is a blessing, he said. Don't listen to idle talk. He worked as a taxi driver and Mama sold cooked food on the street. Money was tight, so when the landlord offered us a 2-bedroom flat for almost nothing, my parents jumped at it. I am Michelle, 18, and I lived there with my parents and my younger sister Abigail, 14. From the first day, I noticed something strange. There were no mirrors anywhere. Not in the bathroom, not in the bedrooms, not even a tiny one in the hallway. Mama asked the landlord jokingly if he hated seeing his face. He didn't laugh. He only said, "Mirrors don't belong here." I will not allow them. It was a strange answer, but we moved in anyway. Life went on at first. We went to school. We ate together, argued like normal families, but I couldn't stop thinking about the missing mirrors. Every time I washed my face, I wanted to see my reflection. Every time I brushed my hair, I felt uneasy staring at blank walls. It was like living in a place where even our shadows weren't welcome. Abigail noticed it too. She was curious, bold, always pushing boundaries. One evening, she whispered to me, "Michelle, this mirror thing is nonsense. What's he hiding?" "It's just glass," I told her to forget it, but Abigail never did. A week later, she brought one home, a small rectangular mirror, no bigger than a school book. She had bought it at a roadside stall, hidden in her bag like contraband. "Don't tell Mama and Papa," she said. "This is between us." I'm not living like some ghost, I wanted to argue, but I also missed seeing my own reflection. I said nothing. She placed the mirror in her bedroom, leaning it against the wall near her bed. That first night, nothing happened. We laughed at our paranoia. She checked her hair, I checked my face, and then we went to sleep. But the second night, everything changed. It started small. When Abigail looked into the mirror, sometimes her reflection seemed delayed, like the glass was tired of keeping up. Once she waved, and the reflection moved a split second late. She laughed it off. "Maybe I'm too fast for it." I didn't laugh. Then, around midnight, I woke to a wet, soft sound like lips smacking. I turned my head and saw Abigail sitting on her bed, staring at the mirror. She wasn't moving, but her reflection was. The reflection smiled, slowly, wide. "Abigail," I whispered, my voice shaking. "Stop playing." She turned to me, frowning. "What?" "I'm not doing anything." But the mirror showed her grinning, teeth bared, eyes too wide. I pulled the sheet over my face and prayed until morning. The next day, I begged her to throw it away. She refused. "You're too scared, Michelle." "It's just a mirror." Maybe the light makes shadows, I wanted to believe her. I tried, but deep down, I knew what I saw. And I swear to you, what came next was worse. I kept my mouth shut for a few days, but that smile haunted me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Abigail's reflection grinning before she did, sitting in her bed like it had a life of its own. I tried to act normal, going to school, helping Mama with the food stall, keeping Abigail company, but at night I stayed awake watching her. She would sit in front of the mirror, brushing her hair, fixing her braids, staring at herself as if the glass held secrets I wasn't meant to know. One Saturday, the landlord came by to collect rent. The moment he stepped into our flat, His eyes darted around like he was searching for something forbidden. When he saw the mirror in Abigail's room, his face went pale. "Who brought that here?" His voice was low, sharp, almost a hiss. Mama frowned. "It's just a mirror. Why do you care? No mirrors in my building. Take it out now. I warned you. If you keep it, you'll regret it." Papa, ever stubborn, snapped. "Old man, you take the rent and leave. Don't tell us how to live." The landlord's lips trembled. "I am warning you. No mirror. None." He turned and left, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I glanced at Abigail. For the first time, her confident smile faltered. But that night, she still sat in front of the mirror, brushing her hair, staring into it like nothing had happened. That was when the small things began. Mama was cooking one evening when she screamed. The reflection in the tiny kitchen window didn't match her movements. While she stirred the pot, her reflection stirred differently, almost mocking her. "Did you see that?" Mama asked, her voice trembling. I had seen it too, but Papa just shook his head. "Stop imagining things." Later that night, I lay awake. Abigail was asleep beside me, but I couldn't stop thinking about that mirror. Then I heard it, the soft scrape of movement. I sat up. Abigail's reflection was awake. She was sitting on her bed, smiling at me. But when I turned to look at her, she was asleep. My chest tightened. My hands shook. I whispered a prayer. The reflection pressed its hand against the glass. The surface rippled like water. Then it began stepping forward, slowly, impossibly, like it wanted to leave the mirror entirely. I grabbed my Bible from under my pillow. The thing pulled back, its grin twisting into a snarl before disappearing entirely, leaving only Abigail's normal reflection behind. The next morning, I told Abigail everything. At first, she laughed. Then she went quiet. "You're not the only one," she whispered. "Sometimes I hear her talking. She says I don't belong here, that she's the real one." I swallowed hard. My stomach twisted. From that night, I couldn't sleep. The flat felt heavier, darker. Shadows stretched unnaturally. Lights flickered. And sometimes I heard laughter in empty rooms. Abigail's laugh. But when I turned, she was fast asleep. The landlord came by again, but this time he didn't knock. He just stood at the door, staring through the small gap like he could see straight into our souls. "She has noticed you," he said quietly, and walked away. I realized then the mirror wasn't just targeting Abigail. It was watching me too. We didn't sleep that night. Abigail and I stayed in the sitting room, staring at the dark bedroom where the mirror rested. When Mama came home, she found us huddled together, wide-eyed and trembling. She asked what was wrong, and I told her everything. Abigail didn't argue this time. "She's inside the mirror, Michelle," she whispered. "She talks to me. She wants to be me." Mama clutched my hand, her knuckles white. Papa came later. He listened, scoffed, and said it was nonsense. "Fear has filled your heads. This is the city, not a story from the village," he said. I wanted to believe him. I tried, but that night I woke again. The humming was soft at first, a quiet lullaby. Then I realized it was coming from Abigail's room. I froze. She was asleep beside me. The reflection sat on her bed, swinging its legs, smiling at me. Its lips didn't move, but I heard the words inside my head. "Switch places with me. One of you must go," I screamed and shook Abigail awake. She saw it too this time. We ran to our parents' bedroom and banged on the door. Papa stormed in, half asleep, ready to yell, but then he saw her, or thought he did. The mirror looked normal. Nothing unusual. "See? Nothing," Papa said, though his voice wavered, but the air in the flat was thick. I could feel it pressing down on my chest. I knew what I had seen. I knew what was waiting. The next week, the flat grew colder. Shadows moved unnaturally along walls. We would hear whispers calling our names, footsteps echoing when no one was there. One afternoon, while Mama sold food outside, one of her customers said Abigail was walking near the tower, hours after we had all been home. It wasn't Abigail. The first real attack came late one night. I woke to screaming. Abigail's voice, shrill and terrified, filled the flat. Papa and Mama ran first, and I followed. She was thrashing on her bed, her eyes wide open, clawing at the air. Then she froze. Slowly, she sat up, turned to us and smiled. Her eyes, they were wrong. Too dark, too deep. You cannot stop me. She belongs to me, the voice said. Abigail's voice, but layered, unnatural. Papa tried to strike, swinging a knife wildly, but the thing behind her disappeared. It had stepped out of the mirror, standing in the corner, gray-skinned and grinning unnaturally. I grabbed my Bible. The creature hissed, snapping its grin wider. My heart pounded. It wanted me too. That night, the reflection began testing me. I would see it in shop windows, car mirrors, puddles after rain, always smiling before I did, always watching. I realized the landlord had been right. It could leave the mirror and linger in reflective surfaces. When I told Papa, he shouted at me to stop being paranoid. But Mama clutched my arm. Michelle, she's real. She's not leaving until you fight her. I didn't know how to fight something that shouldn't exist. A week later, Papa finally went to confront the landlord. He dragged me and Mama along. The old man opened the door slowly, his face pale and sunken. "What have you brought into my building?" he asked, voice trembling. Papa yelled, "What is happening to my daughter? What is this thing?" The landlord lowered his eyes. This flat, it was built over a girl who was killed. Her body never rested. Her spirit clung to mirrors, windows, anything that could reflect. Tenants disappeared. I removed every mirror. I warned you. You brought her back. Mama's face drained of color. Papa cursed him, but I only listened. My stomach twisted. I knew we were in over our heads. That night, the reflection came fully. Abigail was asleep in the sitting room. I stayed awake, clutching my Bible. The lights flickered. The air smelled like wet earth and rot. Then I saw her, the false Abigail, step out of the shattered reflection in the bedroom window. Her skin gray, her eyes too wide, her grin stretched unnaturally across her face. "You prayed me away once, Michelle. But mirrors are everywhere. You cannot run forever," it whispered in my mind. I shouted a prayer, trembling. The creature screamed, a sound like glass breaking, and lunged toward the window. I held the Bible high, reciting every verse I knew. The creature twisted, screamed, and finally disappeared back into the broken glass. The lights returned. The smell vanished, or silence, but I knew it was not gone. After that night, the flat never felt the same. Papa survived the blow when the reflection shoved him, but he was weaker, quieter, and limping slightly. Mama refused to stay another day. She packed our bags in silence, her hands shaking as she folded clothes. Abigail sat beside her, pale and weak, her bright eyes dimmed from fear and exhaustion. I stayed close to Abigail. I couldn't shake the thought that the reflection might return for her, or for me. We left the high rise at dawn, without a word to the landlord, no looking back. For a while, life seemed normal. We moved into a smaller flat, far from Crewtown Towers. Mama filled it with mirrors, as if to prove the curse couldn't follow. Abigail avoided them at first, refusing to glance at her reflection. Slowly, she adjusted, but I didn't. Sometimes, when I pass a mirror, I see it. Just a flicker. A smile that starts before mine. A shadow lingering longer than it should. And every night before sleep, I remember the landlord's words. She has noticed you. A few weeks ago, it happened again. I was brushing my teeth, staring into the bathroom mirror. At first, everything was normal. Then my reflection smiled, slowly, deliberately, before I did. The smile widened, my chest tightened, and then I heard her voice inside my head. You prayed me away once. But mirrors are everywhere, Michelle. You cannot run forever. The toothbrush dropped from my hand. My knees went weak. I smashed the mirror that night. Mama shouted, but I couldn't explain. How could I make her understand that the thing we left behind in that high rise had followed us? Maybe not fully, but watching, waiting, patient. Now, I live in fear of all glass, shop windows, car mirrors, even puddles after rain. I avoid them because I know she is out there, waiting, watching, waiting for the day she steps out again. And when that happens, I may not have the strength to stop her,